The regular notice requirement of the New Jersey Open Public Meetings Act has been complied with in that adequate advance notice of this meeting was given at least 48 hours in advance. On June 18, 2019, notice was mailed to the Courier Post and the Philadelphia Inquirer. Notice was also posted on a bulletin board located by the reception desk at the central office and all school building bulletin boards within the district.
When I call your name, please say present. Ms. Teresa Atwood.
Present.
Ms. Catherine Blackshear. Mr. Wasim Muhammad.
Present.
Mr. Nanamde Nelson.
Present.
Ms. Carmen Otero. Mr. Troy Still. And Ms. Martha Wilson, who is excused. At this time, I call for a motion to go into closed session. Is there a motion?
Second.
A motion was made to go into closed session by Ms. Teresa Atwood and second by Mr. Nam Nelson. All in favor of going into closed session?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, we will now go into closed session to discuss personnel matters. How much time? 30 minutes. We will go into closed session for 30 minutes. The time is now 5:35 and we'll return at 6:05. At this time, I call for a motion to come out of closed session. Do we have a motion?
Motion to come out of close.
Do we have a second?
Second.
A motion was made to come out of close by Mr. Wasim Muhammad and second by Mr. Nam Nelson. All in favor? Any opposed? We are now out of closed session.
Thank you, Anissa. At this time, we will segue down to the floor for the superintendent's report. All right, good evening, everyone. Welcome to our first official board meeting of the brand new school year. We want to say welcome back to everyone. We are now a few weeks into the start of the school year, and we're excited to welcome back our students and our families and our community members to this board meeting. The first day of school was a huge success, and in the report today, we'll highlight as many areas across the district as we possibly can. But again, I am attempting to streamline the report. We started off with one of the smoothest openings that I've seen in many, many years, and that was a result of teamwork across many of our divisions working together to ensure that we're doing everything possible to put students first. So again, welcome back. We are excited. Our students are excited. Our staff members are excited, and we're looking forward to greatness continuing. And so since launching the strategic plan about a year ago in September 2018, we've been continually working to ensure our focus is on the highest priorities to move the district forward. To this end, for this school year, 1920, we have adjusted our priorities accordingly. So you'll see the 4 priority areas listed, and I'll share with you just a few tweaks that were made to be responsive to some of the data and some of the needs that we saw over the past year. So priority 1 remains our number 1 focus, accelerating student achievement. Every action, every decision, everything that we do is focused on accelerating student achievement. And by that, we're not talking about test scores. We're talking about ensuring that we are having our students who enter our classrooms at one point academically, leaving and growing as much as they can possibly grow with the support of our educators. So we will continue to drive efforts to ensure we're accelerating student achievement. On the second priority, which is a great teacher in every classroom, and now you'll see it's been amended to a great staff in every role. Our sole focus last year was on having a great teacher in every classroom. Excuse me, that feedback is there. Having a great teacher in every classroom meant focusing on the kinds of professional development we offered our teachers, recruiting and retaining top-notch talent, and making sure that we were doing that in ways that were sustainable. This year, our focus extends to ensuring we have a great staff member in every role. So every staff of the district, from our custodial teams, our guidance counselors, our payroll specialists, our coordinators, our senior directors, and so on, have an impact on the district's progress, and we all know that. So we want to make sure that we are focusing on every single role that impacts the outcomes of our students. So putting our focus on every staff member, providing each with the professional support needed to thrive in their respective role, is vital to the health of the district. Priority 3 remains a focus: to push for and ensure resources that focus on building and maintaining schools that are futures focused. So continuing to focus on doing whatever we can do to ensure our schools are safe and that they're built for 21st century success. Priority 4 last year was identified as putting students first, which was actually the same as the title of our overall strategic plan. However, after much consideration, we opted to change that as a priority because it stands on its own as the sole reason for all that we do. With every decision we make, from what school supplies and materials we purchase to the timeliness of how we make purchases and how we pay our vendors, to the types of teachers and leaders we employ, to the speed at which we respond to work orders, putting students first is always at the forefront. So to this end, our 4th priority is now focused on being financially responsible and fiscally sustainable. This priority is about making and being financially prudent in every decision we make, so we're not just surviving for the present, but rather living for the future and years ahead. So it's the shift from just surviving, because we know we are survivors, but it's also how are we going to set the district up financially to be able to be sustained in the future and to continue to be that beacon of light for so many of our families in the city. So you will see our focus there in providing you more pointed updates in the area of fiscal responsibility as well. So just to share some highlights in each of the areas, the NJSLA, Pride Point, the NJSLA was previously called our Park Assessment across the state. And we had lots of data that tell wonderful stories in many instances about the work that is being done by our educators in our traditional public schools. We are looking forward to celebrating and sharing that data with you. I want to give the presentation of that data the time it deserves. So instead of me sharing all of the data from each of our groups and how everyone performed within the context of this board meeting, we will have a press conference on October 9th in order to share the data and to go deeper into that discussion, and then also at next month's board meeting as well. We hope you will join us for the press conference. We will have the information posted, but again, save the date. The press event will be October 9th. The location is being confirmed, but at this point, we are looking at, is my desire, to have it at Creative Arts Morgan Village Academy, where we will be able to celebrate and highlight the gains that we are seeing in our NJSLA data. So please look out for more details on our district website so you can see how you can be a part of that very special day as we celebrate our progress. Back to school. Here you see a few first day of school highlights. We had many book bag giveaways. All of our students were equipped based on, not only from their parents, but we had lots of community support and input in ensuring that our students had what was needed on the first day of school so that they all felt ready. So on the first day of school, myself, a few board members, police officers, and community members took a tour of a few of our schools to welcome our students to the brand new 2019-20 school year. At some schools, students received backpacks and school supplies, and at others, we walked into rooms full of eager and excited students who were ready for the year ahead. But certainly, at all the schools we toured, The look and feel of teaching and learning was quite evident. I was walking through Woodrow Wilson High School in a science classroom, and on the very first day of school, students were exploring the scientific method, and they were being asked rigorous and challenging questions in order to ensure that there was a foundation there, and the teacher was doing an absolutely wonderful job. Had a chance to eat in the cafeteria, get my lunch from the cafeteria with the students there. The meals were absolutely wonderful. The students were having a wonderful time, and it was just a great first day of school opening across our district. So we are excited. If that is our start, I can't wait to see what our finish is going to be this year. And so in accelerating student achievement, we do want to give some highlights based on the work of our school support team as we are continuing to think about and reflect on the growth of our students across many areas last year, specifically in ELA and in math. So I want to just share a few quick data points on how our students performed last year as aligned to our goals. Again, no matter how we improve in other areas of our district, the most important improvement is in our student performance data. Remember, I'm not just talking about a test score, but about how much our students are growing. Our strategic plan for accelerating achievement in reading and math states a goal of 66% of schools improving in reading and math, with 75% of students meeting their goals. And we are proud to share that our students and teachers are working very, very hard. And as you can see, 77% of schools improved in reading and math, and 56% of students met their reading and their math goals. That's roughly 6,000 improving their reading and math performance across this district. So that is something that we are very, very proud of. We thank our school support team, our leaders, our teachers, students, our parents, and everyone who supports our students in their goals and to help to encourage them to continue to move forward in their work. And so we will continue to bring updates on the progress of our students as we definitely look at our iReady data so you can see how we're faring this year. Another highlight, 77% of kindergartners at ECDC are reading on grade level as they start first grade this year. Literacy is huge. It is important. And to know that we are sending students to the next grade reading at high levels means we are slowly but surely closing the achievement gaps as well as opportunity gaps in our schools. And so we are excited about laying a firm foundation, about accelerating the rate of achievement so that we're accelerating the closure of some very persistent learning gaps that we have seen in our district. So we will continue to highlight you on the progress there as well. Between fall 2018 and spring 2019, there has been a 22% increase in students reading on grade level. They are showing progress in areas such as vocabulary and comprehension literature, and we know that as we build those fundamental skills and those higher learning skills, that will help our students to be able to meet the demands and the challenges of the work that they are getting as they move up and through their grade level continuum. Also, 24% more students are on grade level for math. Okay. And so back to school night, we're excited that we will be celebrating back to school night on September 25th from 5 to 7 will be our family schools. And then on September 26th from 5 to 7, our high schools, we will be opening our doors to our parents to come in and to have another opportunity to connect and to figure out how we can work collaboratively as we move forward in our school year this year. On October 18th, there will be no school, and there will be a professional development day, and there will be PD focal areas in the afternoon, Danielson training, Google Classroom, STEAM in the classroom, social and emotional learning are just a few. Trauma-informed care, there are many, many very thoughtful PD offerings that are being plan. So we look forward to being able to share with you and report out on our district-wide PD day and what we do for that entire day at our next board meeting. Continuing along the vein of accelerating student achievement, we want to provide an update. Last month at our August board meeting, we shared some of the initiatives and projects that we're working collaboratively with the State Department of Education, as well as our local CEA leaders and the state NJEA leadership as well, combined with our team, in order to ensure that Vets School remains a school that is viable, a school that will be able to stay open for years to come. And so we're trying to do whatever we can to galvanize resources to ensure that the school becomes a community school model. We're hoping that this will be a model for the rest of the nation to be able to follow after. And so with much collaboration, much thought, much careful planning, we will continue to give you updates as we move forward. And so the goal, one of the highlights for Vets is to open a welcome center and have that welcome center at Vet School. So the goal of the welcome center would be to provide our current and incoming bilingual families with a warm, family-friendly, and student-focused environment where they can learn about program offerings, register for school, and participate in adult literacy workshops. The Vets community and our entire district will reap the benefits of this integrated student and family support that is directly linked to needs we see trending in and across our city. This is the first phase of building Vets Family School into a community school where we see expanded student enrichment programs, greater active parent engagement, and collaborative leadership with local and state stakeholders. So we're excited about this very first step in the right direction to lead the state in demonstrating a warm welcome to every family we serve. We know this will be a well-received experience for our community and Vets is the best place to serve our community in this way. We had over 400 community members attend the Vets Community Day, the celebration that was held this summer, and we hope to continue the momentum from the summer months as we venture into a new project with our Vets community. So just stay tuned. We're going to have information for you so that you're able to help us to broadcast and share how we are transforming, and I say we, it's a very collaborative project, transforming Vets into a community school model, again, with hopes of being able to sustain it for years to come. And so we want to upfront say we're looking forward to the outcomes that we will see at Vets. So moving on to a great teacher in every classroom to give a few quick highlights. Our DTLR team continues to focus on teacher hiring even into the first weeks of school. Currently, 93% of our teacher positions are filled. However, we need your help continuing to market our vacancies to your networks. We are looking to hire bilingual teachers as well as special area teachers. Additionally, we continue to work with ESS, who is our sub-provider for substitutes, and highly recommend individuals to apply. So again, you just help us spread the word. We're being very active in our recruitment. And I was just at a county superintendent roundtable meeting on last Friday with county superintendents across the South Jersey, the Camden County area. And the trends that we are seeing in having difficulty finding bilingual and elective teachers are apparent in many of our schools in Camden County. So we are also working on sharing ideas with one another as superintendents in the area. Our county superintendent for Camden County, Dr. Hugh Bassett, has committed to working on establishing partnerships with higher ed communities in order to increase the number of candidates that are coming out, because we're finding that when you look across the state, we just have less teachers coming out. So we are definitely exploring many options for a persistent problem that continues to hit our region in the area of teacher shortages. Safe schools built for 21st century success. The third priority, just a few highlights. We're glad to announce that the Office of Safety and Security will receive a grant from the New Jersey Schools Insurance Group for just over $21,000. These grant funds will support the purchase of new two-way radios for security officers across the district. Two-way radios play a vital role in maintaining the safety and security of our students and our staff members. Instantaneous communication is critical to providing a swift and effective response in the event of an emergency. So we want to continue to improve our efforts to keep our students and staff members safe. So National Security Officer Appreciation Week was held September 16th through 20th. And the next time you have the opportunity, I would encourage you all to take a moment and thank a school security officer for their hard work. We have some of the best security officers in the city, I'd say the state and the nation. Keeping our students and staff safe can be very, very challenging at times. But if you ask any one of our officers, they will share that their work is also very rewarding. It's not just about making sure the building is safe. They build relationships and connections with our students and our families. And those are critical in helping them to be role models, but also to help alleviate some of the issues that arise in some of our buildings. A big thank you to our security officers for your dedication to staff, students, families, and the school community. We were able to celebrate Officer Michelle Butler from Canva, who has reached her 30th year in the district. And it was amazing, and she was just so surprised because she just does what she does out of her heart because she loves the young people and had no idea she was going to be surprised. So we want to just say that all of our officers are deserving, and we thank them for their years of service. Celebrate a school law enforcement officer when you can. Facilities report, just a few quick areas to give some highlights on. We know that our school buildings are very, very important to being incubators for academic excellence, and if the conditions aren't right and aren't set the right way, then it can have a negative impact on our efforts to educate our young people. The team has been busy working on several projects over the summer. A few worth mentioning include several major and minor air conditioning repairs at schools like Caddo, Kramer, BPLA, and Dudley. New window shades were installed at Kramer. Exterior fences and gates were also repaired around the district at schools such as Yorkshire, Davis, Sharp, Coopers Point, Camden High, and at the Camden High Athletic Field. The Forest Hill SDA-funded projects are coming to a close in the coming weeks. You will recall that the cafeteria roof was replaced in the spring, and now contractors have completed the installation of a new roof over the main building at Forest Hill. Additionally, the new heating system will also be ready to come online for the heating season. The new early childhood program located at Cream School also benefited from some summer renovations, including a fresh coat of paint in all the first and second floor classrooms and hallways. Other work performed at Cream included floor repairs, HVAC repairs, and the installation of safety latches on all second floor windows to ensure that our youngest learners remain safe. And last, at the end of the last school year, a major deficiency was found on the fire sprinkler pump at the BPLA High School. This important piece of equipment required significant repairs, which were made over the summer to ensure the building is in compliance with fire safety code, and so that students may occupy a safe instructional facility. And those are just a few of the highlights of some areas we've been working on. So moving forward in the area of technology, schools built for the 21st century require lots and lots of technology. However, it can be challenging for students and teachers if the technology does not work the way it is supposed to. One of the ways our Office of Information Technology measures its success is by tracking the number of incidents that occur with hardware and software across the district. This information can then be used to compare year-over-year performance. Fewer incidents translates into fewer repairs, which means uninterrupted instruction can continue more often. In preparation for the return of staff and students in September, the tech team worked diligently over the summer to repair, refresh, and replace technology devices throughout the district. Within the few short weeks since the first day of school, there has already been a 32% reduction in device and equipment trouble as compared to last year. While there will always be a need to repair and replace technology equipment, we will continue to track this kind of data and use it as a guide for our operations and maximize the positive impact technology has on student learning. So it's a continuous process, and we are working with our team in order to make sure their needs are met. And so moving to the fourth newly revised strategic plan priority, financially responsible and fiscally sustainable. Just a few updates, and one of the things we want to talk about here has to do with how we can bring more revenue into the district, given the fact that we know we're facing difficult financial times. So one way is that when it comes to serving our students breakfast and lunch, we are a community eligibility provision district, CEP, meaning all of our students eat at no cost to them or their families. However, each year, in order to obtain various grants and maximize the money coming into the district, we do need to ask about 35% of our students and their families to complete a household information survey. Every completed form has the possibility of adding at least $1,000 to our district. Each school is reaching out to the needed families so that we can ensure that this revenue is brought in. However, feel free to grab a form or two from the lobby, we have some here tonight, and help us spread the word, because again, we want to be proactive and bring every dollar in that we can, because it is so critical for our district. Transportation. As mentioned at our last meeting, school transportation has an incredibly high cost to the district and is a key place where we would like to save money so we can put that money back into the amazing things happening in our classrooms. We can report that our summer extended school year transportation costs were 14% lower than originally budgeted. This is the first time that cost has been under budget in recent years. So we are trying to cut where we can. As mentioned in our last meeting in August, we notified over 400 students that based on transportation eligibility requirements, they were ineligible and would not receive transportation this year. This is not something that we want to have to do, but in order to figure out how to curb costs, it's something that we had to do, which is in compliance with the law. This helps us towards this goal, and yet we know it has real impacts on students and also on their families. In the next 3 weeks, our transportation team will look for any open seats and see if we can offer those open seats to impacted families. If you would like to request courtesy transportation, please see your school's family operations coordinator. And we have been working on a daily basis through our Solution Center and also our family operations coordinators to help ensure we're doing a better job to message and communicate what courtesy transportation is and how it can help us as we face this challenge. But again, we want to be very transparent, open, and honest with you, but also share that we are trying to be humanistic in our approach as well, and to offer any students that we possibly can courtesy busing and hardship needs cases. So district highlights, the final piece before we wrap up by celebrating our retirees. We have utilized our school meals food truck to provide meals outside of the cafeteria for our students. We want all of our students, families, and community members to be able to enjoy this resource. So you'll see individual students, and also we have community opportunities for our food trucks to be utilized. Fresh Farm to School Week is September 23rd through 27th. We encourage healthy fruit and vegetable options for our students, utilizing locally grown produce and kicking off our 2020 Fresh Fruit and Vegetable program in most of our elementary schools. Encourage students to select fresh fruit and or vegetables for breakfast and lunch. CCSD, in collaboration with our food services management provider, Aramark, services will have electronic menus available for families to view at their leisure and not just have to rely on paper. Although it is taking a little longer to implement the program, we will create a link on our website as soon as it is available. Thank you for your continued patience. We want to say a special congratulations to Fuel Up to Play 60 for 10 years of service and partnering with the Camden City School District. Our newest hometown grant winner is Wiggins School, receiving a $5,000 grant to upgrade breakfast equipment. The Woodrow Wilson High School breakfast cart arrived last Friday and will be used to increase breakfast participation. Encourage students to come to school on time and start the day with a nutritional breakfast. We are continually honored to have such incredible staff. So we want to take this opportunity again to say a special thank you to all the security officers who are around the district. So for our officers who are here today, let's all give them a round of applause to let them know how much they are valued and how much they are appreciated for the work that they do. This event is always amazing each and every year, and it continues to grow and grow every year in our district. And I'm always deeply impacted by Dads Bring Your Child to School Day. I enjoy watching our students beam with pride as their dads, their uncles, their grandfathers, mentors, cousins, neighbors bring them to school. And it's always such an uplifting day to see all of our male fathers and father figures rallied around our students. And this year has been no exception. It's been wonderful to see. And the continued participation that happens throughout the school year. But just this push at the beginning is awesome, and it is very much amazing. Check our district website. You'll see many pictures and highlights from Dads Take Your Children to School, Walk Your Children to School Day on our school district website and also our individual school sites as well. September is Suicide Awareness Month. A topic that we know not only across our nation, but it also hits our communities of color as well, that we need to pay closer attention to. We want to thank the CEA who organized a day of yellow. So throughout the district, these are just a few pictures that you see here, but everyone was encouraged to wear yellow just to raise awareness around suicide prevention and things that we can do just to stay alert and visible to some of the signs of suicide ideation and suicidal thoughts. So this is a very important cause, and we hope to continue to shed light on it as well. And at this time, we will go back on stage where we'll have one of our board members to highlight and congratulate our retirees. Thank you so much for your attention this evening.
So just like to say thank you to those that have served for many years in our school district. Much appreciated. So first, Melinda Avilés, who has served for 26 years. Second, Gladys, and I'm not sure of the last, Nachion, who provided service for 26 years. And last, Nitza Resto Bruno, who served for 23 years. So we appreciate everybody's service and wish you a well retirement.
Thank you so much, Board Member Nelson. At this time, I'd like to open it up for any questions or comments from the board members regarding the superintendent's presentation.
So thank you for the report. Appreciate it. So I know you spoke about vet school. Question, have we received at this point any funds that had been promised for vet school?
That's a great question. Thank you very much. We submitted our emergency aid application on time, and we shared previously in a special board meeting that we submitted the application for $44 million, which included $8 million of emergency aid that we did not get for last year. In addition to the aid needed, about $6 million for keeping vets open, and then other deficits and expenses. So that all totaled to $44 million. At the guidance of our liaisons in the Department of Education, we were told to put in everything that we needed in order to make sure we had what we needed for the year. We were updated last week in a meeting with the commissioner that the applications that were submitted across the state are still being reviewed. And when those applications are reviewed, there will be a notification to those districts as to what amounts of money of aid they received, and then we'll have a timeline. So we don't have a timeline yet for when that's going to happen. And so the answer to your question is no. What we are doing is just shifting monies around in order to make sure that we're covering the cost for vets because it is open. So we have to ensure that every student has what they need in hopes of receiving that emergency aid.
So thank you.
You're welcome.
Madam President. Okay.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. Did you have something on vets? Okay. Also, so feedback in reference to our security officers. One, glad that there was some funding, for two-way walkie-talkies. Also note, speaking to several security officers, just some concerns about not being equipped and being understaffed. And then also, just wondering, if Metro could be more involved during school let-outs and what we need to do in order to, help support that. I'm not sure the exact trainings that our security officers go through, but I think at, one of our recent shootings, there was some conversations, and, we want to make sure that, our officers as well as our staff is supported.
Thank you for raising that those very important points with regard to our security officers. So the staffing levels for our security officers are not as high as they used to be years ago. What we tried to do was to ensure that we were able to cover our buildings with the limitations that we had on funding. So we do also agree and recognize that if we could have more monies for more security officers, that's exactly what we'd be able to put on the table. So the concerns around the officers not being equipped, just for my clarification, you mean equipped with not weapons, but...
No, not weapons. I don't know if it's just trainings and not
Okay.
kind of feeling
Okay.
safe, maybe
Gotcha.
in certain circumstances where they're putting their lives
Okay.
at risk.
Yes, and so security officers do receive training, but we can also take that back to our director, Alan, to look at some of the concerns that are had. I think it's probably good for us to do a survey or some kind, not even a formalized one, but just to get a consensus from the officers to see what areas of training that they would like to receive or what they feel that they're lacking in, so that we know it and we can definitely be responsive to it. So that is something that I'll charge the director with, Director Allen, with being able to do that as we record the notes. The other thing that you shared was about collaboration with the police department in order to ensure that at arrival and dismissals, we're able to have police presence. So we now have an hour before dismissal and an hour after dismissal, from an hour before dismissal to an hour after dismissal at our two comprehensive high schools, a police officer stationed there. I spoke to Chief Wysocki, and he is committed to doing everything possible to ensure that we are decreasing the likelihood of any other shootings that we have, decreasing the likelihood. And he committed, even though he knows that and I can publicly say this because he said it to me, that there may be some concern of utilizing resources by having them stationed at a building all day long. He would rather put that in proactively and preventively than wait to have an emergent situation occur where there's either loss of life or there is damage to the lives of our young people due to violence. So Chief Wysocki has committed. We stay in constant communication, and he also, as a result of the shooting that occurred next to Woodrow Wilson High School, sent out K-9 units to to go through the areas, not only on the school grounds, but in the neighborhoods, to ensure that no individuals were stashing any weapons and then going into school, because we have metal detectors, so they can't get those things into the building, but making sure that we don't have a repeat of anyone stashing a weapon and then at dismissal going to get that weapon from near a corner store and utilizing it. And so those sweeps of the neighborhood areas, he is continuing to do those sweeps as well. We will continue, though, to improve our efforts there, but I can applaud and commend Chief Wysocki on his proactiveness. And we will take everything you shared into consideration.
Thank you for that
You're
feedback. Just two last things, and
Sure.
I don't need a response for it now. From some community members that complain about the Woodrow Wilson gym, no air and windows being broke, as well as Brim High School concerns of the bushes next to the school, a request for them to be trimmed or cut down. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll follow up on those areas.
Yes. I just wanted to report that I attended a professional development workshop last week, and Dr. Fletcher did a marvelous job, and I was just so proud of the staff that we have that's really trying to improve our students.
Thank you so much, Ms. Atwood.
I just wanted to piggyback off of what our brother Namdi was saying in regards to safety and security. So I understand there have been an incident along, not necessarily on our grounds, but near our grounds, and just implementing the Safe Corridors program, where not only are the police in front of the school, but they're a block or two within the neighborhood, because a lot of times the incidents that are happening are not happening on our grounds, but they're happening maybe a block or two away. So just really reestablishing and strengthening the Safe Corridors program, which has already been established.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam President. I just wanted to say something that's involving the community, just an observance that we can do. I'm always considering what we can do more as a community to assist in the education of our young people. And I just want to say that, especially on the main corridors in the city of Camden, that we as neighbors, parents, friends, and businesses can start a campaign of cleaning up the trash that's on our streets when our young people are waiting for buses, going to various schools around the district. When our young people are walking to school, I know in the beginning of the school year, September, we do. I love the people of the community come out and high five them coming into the school, and let's extend that a little more by going out and sweeping up the walkway, the pathways. I know several years ago, a group of Great Camden residents took a walk in the neighborhood to show the walk that our students make for school. So I just wanted to, highlight that and talk about that, and to begin to have that conversation in our community about, taking our role and responsibility, not just relying on the city street sweepers, or we can continue to press them as well. But however, just get outside and do like the old neighbors would do. Just go outside and just clean up in front of our neighborhood, our businesses, and our places that we frequent every day. Thank you.
Thank you. At this time, I'll turn it over to our general counsel as we move into our public comment portion of the meeting.
Thank you, Superintendent. The Camden City School District welcomes the attendance and comments of all members of the public at its meetings. This public comment period is your time to be heard on the agenda items in the meeting. This is not a time to engage in a dialogue with the board, but it is your time to present your comments to the board and the superintendent. Each person who signed up will have 3 minutes to speak. You will be notified when your 3 minutes are up. You cannot yield your time to another person. When it is your turn to speak, please remain at the podium and address all of your comments to the general counsel or the superintendent. Please be courteous to your fellow community members and keep your comments within the allotted time frame so that everyone has the opportunity to speak. At the end of the 3 minutes, the microphone will be cut off. Please conduct yourself in a respectful and courteous manner. The First Amendment is not absolute, which means that the board can prohibit language that is inappropriate. So for anyone whose comments or actions either harass, intimidate, or threaten the safety of any person, we will provide you with a warning or immediately end your comment time. In addition, if you curse, use vulgar language, or make personal attacks, we will provide you with a warning or end your comment time. We will not interrupt you during your 3 minutes of comments unless we deem it necessary. If a member of the public speaks about a staff member, interruption is necessary to caution him or her of the danger of slander. Members of the audience should also not interrupt the speaker at the podium. If you have questions, please ask your questions during your 3-minute comment time. After the public comment period is closed, the superintendent or her designee will address your questions to the extent provided by law. I believe that everyone who signed up to speak has a number, and I understand that the person with number 1 had to leave. So we're going to start with number 2, Dr. Derek Campbell, and then number 3 will be Jennifer Perez.
I just keep this?
On your way out, you can hand it to Sheree.
Okay. My name is Dr. Derek Campbell. My address is 213 Society Hill Boulevard, Cherry Hill, New Jersey. I am Dr. Derek. I am a promoter of racial harmony. As a former educator and subject matter expert, I have the perfect program that would help you meet your yearly professional development training requirements according to subject Managing for Equality and Equity in Education, NJAC 6A7-1.6. Now, according to the New Jersey Department of Education in 2018, white students outperform Black and Hispanic students in the areas of language arts and mathematics. One of the primary factors that contributes to the achievement gap are the cultural differences between teachers and students. If you implement my program, you will be proactive in resolving the student achievement gap and promote positive racial teacher-student classroom relationships. I would like to either meet with you individually or collectively to provide additional information regarding the programs. And please take this introductory letter.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Number 3 would be Jennifer Perez. Number 4 is Ms. Ingram.
Good evening, board members and community members. My name is Jennifer Perez, and I'm here to talk about an upcoming event that I'm planning on having, and it's called A Walk for Safer Schools. In the hopes of bringing awareness to students and parents about school violence in and out of schools. I would like to see our children embrace each other than trying to hurt each other. The tentative date is November 7th, and as school board members, parents, and community members, I would like for your participation to walk with me. It also will show support to the parents that you are willing to be on board to encourage school safety. And I look forward to partnership with you on the event.
Thank you. Thank you. Number 4 is Ms. Ingram. Number 5, Carla Villegas.
Good afternoon. My name is Adea Ingram. I am a parent advocate leader working with Parents for Great Camden Schools. I have a 5-year-old daughter who is a kindergartner who attends Leap Academy Charter. My issue today is with the bus commission transportation, for the fact that the kids are being left at school, dropped off at wrong locations, picked up late from school, and picked up late from their designated pickup and drop-off locations. This issue raises a number of concerns, one being safety and the other being communication when involving our children. This issue leaves parents worrying about the children's whereabouts and leads to parents leaving work early or getting to work late. This bus commission transportation issue is not just with Leap Academy Charter. As a parent advocate leader, I have complaints from other parents with similar issues whose children attend Mastery, KIPP, Uncommon, Camden Prep. For me, it terrifies me not knowing where my child is at when it's time for dismissal. Whether it's the bus hasn't picked her up yet, she is left at school, or is getting dropped off location later than expected. What I would like to see moving forward is better communication, consistency with times and locations for the commission buses that needs to be at a specific place, and more accountability. On behalf of the students and the parents, this issue needs to be addressed immediately. I am extending an invitation to a community meeting I am hosting on October 10th, 2019 at Ferry Avenue Library from 3 to 5. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, board members. My name is Carla Villegas. I am a parent advocate leader with Parents for Great Camden Schools. I have 2 students that attend Camden City School. I'm here today to voice my concern on why they don't have a crossing guard on 990 Morgan Boulevard across from the park. I understand they have one on the corner of 8th and Morgan Boulevard, but having one across from the park will be safer for children to cross the street, and it will have parents feeling comfortable about their children walking to school. They have a security guard crossing the children with a slow down sign instead of having a proper stop sign. Another concern I would like to speak on is why they don't have a crossing guard on 7th Street between Northgate 1 and Northgate 2. The CCPD are also making it worse for families. They keep directing traffic straight on 7th Street, making it difficult for families to cross the main street. Thank you.
Thank you. Number 6, Sarah Jocelyn, and then 7 is Thomas Johnson.
Thank you for the opportunity to speak. Sarah Jocelyn, 1234 Forge Road in Cherry Hill. I would like to congratulate the young people who will be involved in the Woodrow Wilson Student Council. And I'd just like to remind the board that there is summer leadership and other leadership opportunities through the state student councils, and including a summer program that's at the College of New Jersey. I also appreciate the fact that there will be a science-based trip, a retreat that will be at Pocono Environmental Center field trip. I think these opportunities outside of the school are wonderful for growing awareness as well as knowledge in a real-life setting. I did have some questions. I did not hear an update on the status of our new comprehensive equity plan, and I think that was intended to be reported on tonight. I'm bringing to your attention that New Jersey State Board of Education is under review of 7 of the student learning standards. There will be the opportunity for public comment beginning in January. These new student learning standards are revised. Revised student learning standards are expected to be adopted in May or in June of the year of 2020. So it's something to be aware of that's happening. I'm also wondering about the status of the attendance policy. I know there was a lot more focus on what will happen in accountability for attendance of our students. I did not hear a report on the percentage of our preschool attendance, for example. We haven't historically in Camden, there's been a very high rate of attendance of our preschoolers, and now that we've reorganized and we've opened up the new Cream School, I'm wondering where we stand in terms of enrollment, and if there are issues that are being addressed in terms of having access for students to get to the school and how that school is evolving, let's put it that way. I did notice that there was a couple of things to be looked at on page 76, resolution number 70. It lists that there are 7 schools. I only see 5 listed. And on page 27 and 28, it looks like there's a repeat, a duplicate with the same name for attending the special education law. Perhaps there were supposed to be 2 different people. So just take a look at that issue. I appreciate the opportunity to hear the feedback from all the board members, and thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Johnson, and then Ali Sloan is after. Thomas Johnson?
Good evening. My name is Thomas Johnson. I live at 1 Market Street, the Victors. I'm here on behalf of Camden Youth Wrestling. Within the past 4 years, we've been displaced 2 times from schools where we practice. We really don't ask the city for much, but we're asking now. We need a permanent place to practice. That's pretty much it. I have over 100 kids, 14 of them being girls. Last year, we were blessed to have our first female state champion at 145. We had 2 11-year-old females place 3rd and 4th in the state. We had a 5-year-old place 7th in the state. I don't have any records on the boys because we didn't take the boys to the states this year because we were just overwhelmed. We had too many boys. So this year we're going regardless. If we got to catch a cab there, we will be at the states this year with our whole team. We've been here for about 12 years. A lot of people don't even know we're in the city. I think that's sad. I don't know what else to do as far as like get the word out. I usually hit the schools pretty much every year to let them know that we're here and that we're functioning. Wrestling is like the greatest sport in the world. Like there is no other sport like wrestling. You have football where you have 11 guys on the field all helping each other. Baseball, you got 9, they all helping each other. Basketball, 5, all helping each other. Wrestling, you go out there by yourself all day, every day. You come back by yourself. It builds our kids up. It builds their self-esteem. To see a kid that's really, he's not a go-getter, he's not any of that. To see him win a couple of matches and it changes his life. To have his mother come to me or his father and say, listen, coach, his swagger has changed. He's a different kid, because they get to take all that credit, but they also have to wear when they don't do well. You have to own it. You have to live up to it. So we come to you to ask for help to find a permanent practice place, somewhere that we can call home. We're not really looking for something where we can hold tournaments yet, where we're not there yet. All our matches are away. We wrestle at Ivy League colleges. We wrestle all over South Jersey. Our kids get like the greatest experience ever as far as wrestling. Like, I can't say it enough. 3 minutes is not enough, but I will cut it. But we're just asking for help right now from wherever. We are actively looking for a practice place. The place we used last year is no longer available to us. Our permit was denied for that. So we're working on it, and we're just here asking for help. Thank you.
Thank you. Ali Sloan?
Hey, Coach. What's up, babe?
Ali Sloan Ill, 1818 Mount Ethan. I am the new exalted ruler of the Elks Lodge, and I'm the old member that chaired the Elks Parade for over 15 years. Now I'm the point person. To you, the superintendent, and the board secretary, and the advisory board, the president, Ms. Blackshear, Ms. Atwater, I know, Minister, I know, and Nam, I know. With Ms. Wilson, I don't see her here, and the rest of the board members, I'll get to know. It's important that I come here in support of the Elks Parade. In 1906, the Elks was formed, and we have a great, great history. Some of the folks that were his audit ruler was Brother Wilson, Whip's a great uncle, and we can go down the line. But you got to know your history to know your present state. You got to know who came before you so you can do the job as board members and even superintendent. I'm asking this board for support for buses for your students. I'm going to say it again, for your students. I need 3 buses, Camden High, Woodrow Wilson, and another bus to shuttle other students and those who participate at the middle schools and the high schools. We need that. October the 6th, I gave you flyers in that respect, but I'm also asking if a member of the advisory board that's involved in the athletics, so you should have an athletic committee that indulge in your athletics. The young man, coach that came up, wrestling coach, he's a good guy. I was with him a year ago at Morgan Village. So he needs that support. We need the support for your students to go back and forth in this parade. So I'm asking again for your help, and I need a member of the advisory board to sit on the parade committee. I know Nam is in the community. I know Minister Wasim is in the community. Send your men out so they can get that work done for you. And I know Sister Perry in that respect. So, Superintendent, I'm putting that on the table to see if we can get support. October the 6th, Sunday, all are welcome to the parade to participate. We'll have about 25 to 30 marching groups from Trenton, Philadelphia, and especially Camden. And Camden High is the showcase of the event, along with Sister Wawa. So again, to the president and the board members, hope to see you there. Thank you.
Thank you. Amir Khan.
Good evening. First of all, again, great superintendent report, and just really did my heart, it jumped to see all those increases taking place with our students, and so again, congratulations to the entire staff. I do want to speak briefly in reference to Brother Thomas and the wrestling program again. I think he did an excellent job. I just want to say again, I was involved with football and wrestling all through coming up and then on to college. I went on scholarship for wrestling, but I played football and wrestling at Rutgers, New Brunswick. My kids had like 500 matches before they went to high school, which gave them a tremendous advantage when they wrestled. They end up both placing in states. My older son, two-time state champ, undefeated for 2 years, went on a full scholarship to West Virginia. Other son went to Rutgers University on scholarships, placed in the nation at Rutgers. But it's such a great program here in Camden. A lot of people, like he said, they don't know about it. But imagine 100-some kids in that room, and I've been involved with them from the beginning, just to watch what they do out there. They teach discipline. They work with these kids day in and day out. And it broke my heart when I hear that they didn't have enough buses or transportation for the men, for the boys to go and compete in these tournaments when these other schools do. So whatever we can do, I wish you guys were with me in 2014. It was March of 2014, Andrew Stevens from Camden High School. Some of you might remember he became the first high school state champ from Camden High. And we are down at the Convention Hall, Atlantic City, 16,000 people in that auditorium, and you had schools from all over competing, and Andrew Stevens came out from Camden High. And I'm not exaggerating, please look it up online, but it's kind of like the Rocky movie where everybody started cheering for Rocky. The whole stadium, 16,000 people, started chanting for him. I mean, I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about it. And he ran out there. It was crazy because it was his first time being in a position like that. Didn't know. He came out late. He's putting on his clothes while he's getting ready to go on the mat. It was funny, but everybody loved the fact of a young man like this coming out of Camden, New Jersey, never, ever had anybody in States before, and he got up there and performed in such a great way, threw his arms up in the air, reached out, grabbed his mom, and I don't think there was a dry eye in the house. 16,000 folk from all over chanting his name, Andrew Stevens. So, and then the next day, a big banner in front of Camden High. Congratulations for Camden High's first state champ. That all happens because of the young program that they start right here. So please, let's do whatever we have to do to get them a place. They start the Friday after Thanksgiving, so they need a place to practice. 13 seconds left to go. I'm going to give it back to you because I used that last month, okay? God bless you.
Fair enough. Thank you. That is, he's our last speaker for the evening. So I will turn it back over to the superintendent for comments, for responses.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you to everyone who shared and everyone who also offered, not only sharing information that could help us to become better as a district, but also sharing resources and sharing opportunities for new partnerships. And thank you to is Mr. Johnson still here? Mr. Honest Johnson? Yeah. There you are. Okay. Thank you so much for being here today. We had a great conversation on last evening, and I really felt his heart for what he does for young people. So we will be working with him to make sure we have a place. And so starting off with student safety, we had Ms. Perez who came and shared with us. Student safety, what you shared is so very critical. We thank you for your efforts and what you're going to be planning to just continue to bring a level of awareness higher for what we need to do from all perspectives for student safety. It's certainly a topic that we are paying a great deal of attention to. We're always ready to partner with organizations that are putting measures in place that ensure the safety of our students. So Ms. Perez, please be sure to give us more information. I think you already shared that with us about the walk you spoke. If you haven't shared that paperwork, please make sure you share that information so that we can help to ensure that we are sharing that and that we can learn from it as well. Minister Wasim, our team will have more information to share about the various safety measures that we are also working on. Okay, Ms. Ingram, I don't know if you're still here, but you talked a lot about issues regarding transportation, and we did also share in our presentation last month and this month. We are definitely facing some transportation issues and challenges, but we are working through those on a day-by-day basis and hoping to mitigate the negative impact on our families, and we know we've got a lot of work to do. So transportation and student safety is a priority for the district. Whenever there's a transportation issue or delay, our schools generate a report immediately. These reports allow us to hold bus companies accountable and present an opportunity to work together on technology. Thank you for being patient with me. In regard to LEAP's transportation issue, We have connected with LEAP with the county commission to address their challenges. So we want to make sure that you're aware that as issues come up, because we're responsible for coordinating transportation as a district, we are bringing those issues to the attention of the commission and efforts to not continuously have the same problem, but to find a solution in a system so it doesn't keep happening and negatively impacting our families. Crossing guard, Ms. Villegas, you brought up specific concerns about crossing guards on a couple of different locations in our city. We have that written down. The city of Camden is responsible for the allocation of crossing guards. So we as a district aren't responsible for the allocation, but we certainly advocate for the need for crossing guards at various locations to keep our students safe as they're walking to school. And so we will have our Director of Security, Terry Allen, to follow up with the city about the gap you mentioned, and I'll also do what I can to follow up with the mayor's office to see if there is a way to have more crossing guards deployed, or if there's a way to redeploy so that certain hotspot areas are covered. But thank you for bringing that to our awareness. I'm going to go from memory because this computer, I don't want to throw it because it's really frustrating right now. But the Comprehensive Equity Plan, Ms. Jocelyn, you presented a lot of great questions, as you always do, and we thank you for the information that you shared with us. But we've submitted our comprehensive equity plan as we shared during the August meeting. Right now, we are working with the county superintendent's office on some feedback they've shared with us. We will be prepared to share more fully an update on the plan during October's meeting, which is our designated time that we were going to follow up. We're working on policy revisions and working on ensuring that everything is in place along with the county so that when it's done the right way, and we can share that. And we thank you, though, for continuing to ask those questions because they help to ensure that we are providing the information that we say we're going to provide. With regard to early childhood centers, I'm going to talk about this a little bit, and then I'll kick it over to Dr. Fletcher. You asked some great questions about the early childhood center. I'll reverse that. Dr. Fletcher, you go first, and then I'll follow up there.
Sure. So we're very pleased with the strong start to Cream's Early Childhood Development Center. We have been working diligently to make sure the space is ready for children, and we have actually been noted even this early in the year of how our programs are so language and literacy rich, and how they've really been providing the level of supports at the highest level. Even though we are new in this building, our sustainability of high quality programming has not wavered at all, even though we're in a newer space. And so that has been noted in some of the recent reports in the news. And so we've been really just pushing that effort and continuing with it. As in regards to enrollment, we're always seeking as many students as we can service because we know how high quality our programming has been. And so with that being said, we're just always continuing to advertise our early childhood program, and our early childhood director, Ms. Marquita Naismith, she's right in the back. She and her team work diligently to improve enrollment. And so that's ongoing. She just waved, so that's ongoing. As we're referring to activities, I guess that's with recruitment, but as it comes with family engagement, again, our early childhood programs are ones that we actually model for our K to 12 programming when it comes to family engagement. And so they've started from day one engaging families. If you had a chance to be there, their opening day at Cream involved music and welcoming families and children together into their programs. They were able to walk their kids to classrooms, visit the room, take pictures with their kids, and start to already put pictures up in the room that model who is in the community and who is a part of their classroom space. So family engagement is something that, again, the early childhood development centers are already doing at high levels than some of our even K-8 and high school programs.
Absolutely, thank you. And in addition to what Dr. Fletcher shared, we have currently we have approximately 120 students in attendance with families coming every day. So we are able to increase the number of slots that are available for that community in high quality places. So we are very excited about that enrollment drive and campaign, and we're still accepting students, and I know the early childhood department never stops recruiting all year long. They don't. With regard to school-based youth services, 5 schools are funded through the school-based youth services grant. One school is a district-funded grant at VETS, and one is community-based funded through our Center for Family Services at H.B. Wilson. So we have 7 schools within the district that are part of our school-based youth services program. And thank you for providing Ms. Jocelyn the information and updates on the standards revisions process that's occurring throughout the state. Wrestling program, we talked a little bit about it, and several of you mentioned it, and we thank you, Mr. Johnson, for coming and sharing with us today your vision, your heart, what you do each and every day for our young people. We still believe in the Beat the Street program and the benefits it offers our students, providing our students with a safe learning environment, an opportunity to just develop those skills that Pastor Khan also talked about is so very critical. So we are definitely open to you, as I shared with you last night, to helping you, Coach Johnson, find another school to host the program pending a formal meeting to address all the issues. So what we're going to do is someone should be reaching out to, if they haven't reached out to you yet, or if they can reach out to you before this meeting is over, to make sure we start the process so that we are well ahead of the post-Thanksgiving November start. So we want to make sure that that's all in place. So thank you again for sharing your need with us. Okay, that's it. No, that's not it. Yeah. All right. So, Mr. Derek Campbell, you also shared with us information about the racial harmony training, and we're very thankful for the information that you shared with us, and we will be looking into that because we're always trying to find new and innovative ways to close that achievement gap. So thank you for coming and sharing and presenting, and I believe you shared information with us as well that we can take a look at. This is incomplete. Keep going. Okay. Here we are. All right. And Pastor Khan, thank you so much for sharing your feedback, positive feedback on the student growth results. We're definitely looking forward to sharing even more news, which I think will put a big giant smile on your face because our district schools are really moving in the right direction. And we definitely also appreciate you throwing your support behind Coach Johnson. Brother Ali Slonell, we thank you for sharing the information about the upcoming event and the need for transportation and funding for the Elks Lodge. We have that information, and again, we'll take it back in order to make sure that we're speaking with integrity to what we can share and what we can afford to do. And I want to thank everyone for your questions, for your comments, and all of your input. And we look forward to working with you throughout the rest of this month and the year as we continue to put students first and work together in that vein. All right, so at this time, we'll move to board members for any comments, if you have any.
Yes, thank you, Madam President. I just want to revise a little bit what I said earlier and have an ask in a conversation with the rest of the school board members and the superintendent and staff. As I was talking about trash in our community, I happened to see a neighbor of mine on Park Boulevard who do so much. I mean, she didn't want to be heard, but she does a lot in the community. as far as trash on her own, and I don't think she wanted to work against me of what I was saying, because I was speaking more of the children's walk to school. But I think with some of the concerns of the neighbors on Park Boulevard, a street that I grew up on and still now live on that street. I think the issue is the neighbors do their due diligence in picking up the trash with all the football games. And believe it or not, it's not the students always throwing trash on there. It's people riding by. You can see them in the evenings throwing trash out their cars, being just negligent in the godliness of our duty as citizens. But I think what that neighbor was saying, and the neighbors are saying, is that if they can put trash receptacles, cans, permanent ones, because the ones they give out, they end up, having feet on and they start walking. And those boots definitely be walking. But however, that's before some people's time, but nevertheless, if we can get permanent trash receptacles, I think the neighbors, along with, the staff of Camden High School, will do an excellent job and continue to do an excellent job. Because I know sometimes when I get out the car, I'm looking to pick up the trash sometimes, and I'm trying to emulate by example. But it's like there's no trash can going alongside where the tennis courts are at. And if those trash receptacles were there, we would definitely do in our neighborhood, and hopefully it encourages others in their neighborhood to push for that. Okay.
Any other board member questions or comments? Okay. All right. If not, thank you so much. I'll turn the meeting now, monthly approvals. I'll turn it over to Anissa, our board secretary, to present the business office agenda items.
Thank you. At this time, I'd like to present the business office agenda items for approval. They include the bill list, resolutions, with the exception of board item number 15 on page 29. We'd like to give that item further review.
All right. Are there any questions on the business office agenda items? Okay. If not, in accordance with the powers vested in the State District Superintendent under Title 18A, I hereby approve today's superintendent's agenda items and business office agenda items, with the exception of the items that were called out by our business administrator.
At this time, I call for a motion to adjourn the meeting. Is there a motion?
Motion to adjourn.
Is there a second?
Second.
A motion was made to adjourn the meeting by Mr. Wasim Muhammad and second by Mr. Nam Nelson. All in favor? Any opposed? The meeting is now adjourned.